Hello.
Ads are starting. Dylan will continue the conversation after the ads are over. Thank you for supporting the stream.
All right, everybody, you are just seeing me finishing the setup today for doing our Lego morning. This is a Lego break Monday. You know how those lovely little things go. We are doing holiday theme sets today. One of which I found a set of instructions online for. The other one, in spite of what Fantastic Sherlock Fox was looking for and looking, excuse my reach there, was looking and looking, could not find the other set of instructions online. So we'll have a paper set. But to start with, we're going to go with the smaller one. This is the Lego Market Stall, the Winter Market Holiday Stall. Here's the Fox set. I did not borrow Fox's camera today because I was just not organized, as normal, you know. But we're going to start just building straight away. And I'm going to turn this coffee cup, so Yeti branding, rather than doxing myself. Actually, you know what? I've got a way of making this cup more decorative. I have stickers that have been waiting to go on it for a really long time, so I'm just going to pull off the family identification name. I won't need one of those till, I don't know, 2026, I think I said, or is it 27? I can't recall, when we're going on our next Jamboree trip. So, in the meantime, that way I don't dox myself as badly. Let's get a start on this one. So this is a set that Fantastic Sherlock Fox received as a gift, a win, in a marbles race from the local brick shop. And on that, let's get this going. So we got it sent here, and it does not have it does not want to build it himself, which is fine. That's totally cool. I don't know where we're going to put it. Probably next to either the train that we're going to build after this, or potentially, if I can figure out where it got to, somewhere in our holiday stuff that we have for putting out around the house. We have a gingerbread house that came out a few years ago, so maybe this will be similar scale to go with that. But worst case scenario, we've got it built, and we can always send it home with my mother, who for whom we are getting this year one of the holiday village themed sets. And so she can add it to two things. You know what else? Might help if we have a microphone. Give me a split sec, and I will be right back with the mic. Hopefully that sounds better. We'll see. We'll see. People will have to let me know. All right, we're back. I'm just going to start interacting with these instructions. Oops, I need to be on the right screen to do that. Interact. Perfect. I forgot to show Fantastic Sherlock Fox how to do this before I had he went for his stream weekend, so he had a great way of getting around it. I didn't realize how he was doing his instructions, and it's not wrong. It definitely worked, but there's some minor improvements that he could do. So he said he and I will talk later about how I do my instructions, and potentially some suggestions for screen layout differences that might work a little better for his stream. I mean, for example, this top left corner where it says Winter Market Stall, that's where we normally, or not normally, where we had instructions for a while so that we could actually keep the screen as clear as possible. And now that I've said that, I really want to move both things to do that. Let's grab the instructions, drag them over here for a moment. Grab these two, drag them as a pair down here. I don't have a set picture for this one because it's only like a 200-piece set or something, so it's not necessary. Most of the reason I don't use the instructions in this top corner is simply because the set instructions are usually too big to show in that corner. So we'll see how these start looking once we roll into them. You've got two bags. Bag one. And bag two. Setting bag two out of the road. Good day, Les. How you doing? Always good to see people. Oh, whoops, wrong window. it's a quiet Monday, so not a whole lot is going on my end. People that are busy working are nose to the grindstone so that they can actually have Christmas holidays if they're heading through such fairly quickly. In previous years, our kids probably would have been off school by now, but this year they're going long, like they're actually going all week, which is, good for some things in terms of their education, not great for others in terms of the ability to, so I'm just making sure I'm being really good nails, the ability to actually take them out to do the Christmas shopping they want to do. Because, well, none of us really thought about it ahead of time. It just feels like this year has really flown right by. Okay, so we've got some of the parts. I just need to see if I can force cameras. Where's the camera thing? I normally have a window full of, there we go. I moved things last week. It made sense at the time. May not have been the world's best plan. A fun day working interdepartmental competition for best Christmas decorations. Best one wins pizza. Ooh. So how did your team do? How did your team do? I'm actually quite curious. I was just about to zoom in the camera, and then the software started auto-updating. I'm like, really? Really? All right. So we'll just roll on through and see what we can do. So likely for next week, given the date, I'll probably take the day off from streaming. However, the next Lego Monday type event that we have after that will be one. One where I've borrowed Fantastic Sherlock Fox's camera that has better zooming in and out all of a sudden, or like on its own. So that's what we're going to borrow that, but I have to play around with it not live because that one, from what I understand, takes a little bit of getting used to. They haven't announced the winner yet. Well, what time zone are you in? Because that's probably got a lot to do with it. I mean, was it supposed to be pizza for today, or is it pizza for a future date that you guys would actually choose after that? Or book, I guess, after. Alright, so lack of zoom. Sort of, maybe, kind of. I don't know. Yeah, I guess not. Auto zoom is temporarily borked as usual. Okay, well, we'll go with it. What have we got here? Hopefully the stream isn't freezing, because for some reason this thing is insisting on downloading in the background, and that's going to mess with our cameras.
Howdy!
Good morning, Minneapolis Mel. How are you doing today? Weirdly enough, I was thinking about you yesterday. There's our minifig. I was thinking about it was all good stuff. All good stuff. Enjoyed a stream weekend with Minneapolis Mel's great streaming skills. Okay. So I just opened up an alternate way of zooming the camera and it just disconnected itself. That's not great. Anyways, suffice to say, I will slow it down because I'm getting wound up. And we don't need that. We've got one minifig done. Adjustments. Need to kick this one. There we go, kicked. All right. And then we need one more minifig. Ed, where's your legs, man? You're legless. Not just Legolas. Legless at the moment. Alright. I will do as do as the fox does a little bit and set this guy to the side, and then we'll just figure out where his legs got to as we go. I do have spare minifig legs, so it's not like it's a big deal. What? Twitch doesn't think Mel's a streamer. Twitch has issues. What? No, that's rude. So sus. Indeed. Indeed. Well, if you guys have not followed Minneapolis Mel, you really should. Definitely one of those ones that is worth putting on your radar and listening to every time they get up there. Every time they go live. What am I trying to say? Wow. Just wow. I don't know. Don't know. Anyways, okay, well, so we don't have the legs for this guy yet. I'm not sure where they got to, but that's his face. He only has a one-sided face, so we're going to set him off to the side. I know I'm supposed to be looking for brown legs. Oh, they're there, see? And I didn't realize he's shorter, imply younger than the other person. Righty, okay. Let's move on. We've got this one. And I had a thought regarding music that I'm going to try play with over the holidays. So I'm gonna see. I like the Epidemic Sound music, I really do, but I'm missing some of the stuff that I know and enjoy. There we go. Flip it over. I want the black strip. I believe this set was actually a gift with purchase, but I'm not sure what period it was, nor how much you had to get in order to receive this particular set. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, Fantastic Sherlock Fox won it in a marbles race with the local brick shop. So, who does Lego stuff, clearly. And that's another one of those ones, if you have not seen the local brick shop, you really should. It's a whole lot of fun, but I will warn you that although technically they're family friendly, their content can be a little edgy at times, and I think that's half the fun, to be perfectly frank. Well, I'm perfectly Delenn, but you know. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you for catching that shout out. And that's just allowing everybody to find a local brick shop. I would definitely recommend it. They're unique in a very positive kind of way, but they're not in your face about it. One of the reasons I use Epidemic Sound is not just because, copyrights and all that notices. For the most part, I've had a bit... I did something wrong here. This is not looking right. Oh, I know why it's not looking right, because I missed a piece. Duh. I didn't finish the step. Yeah, that looks better. I'm trying to figure out why I had too much of the white hanging out the front, because I didn't put the front edge on. Over. There's a lot of flip back and forth in this one. Where was I going with that? There was a thought to that rant at some point. Anyhow, I can't recall how I got introduced to the local brick shop or Fantastic Sherlock Fox. I'm gonna bet it was through Maribel Jade. But anyways, I like Epidemic Sound quite a lot without having the copyright notices. The flip side of that, though, is that 99% of the time, unless they're doing songs for which copyright is based on a particular artist covering the song, then unless it's something like that, then I generally don't know the music. There's a few songs now that I've got to say, oh hey, I like that one and I want to get to know that music, but it's a specific individual song that way, as opposed to actually being a song you ever hear on the radio. And I like that, but for our purposes, sometimes it's nice to be moving and grooving, so I want to explore ways I can do that while not having No music, so yeah. Because right now what I do is apparently bump everything and blow autofocus out of lunch. There you go. What I do right now is when I remember, which is not always guaranteed, but commonly, I try and upload all my VODs to YouTube as my storage for them, partly because then I can easily share it with anyone, just saying, oh yeah, just go here and find it there. But I don't want them silent, so I need to think about what I want to do with that. Either cease doing it, or go ahead with it. Some of the other streamers who I'm familiar with that do something similar, some of them recut their video and re-audio their video and re-upload it and, you know, like all that fancy stuff. I just say export and off we go. That's why if you guys would ever look at one up there, it's got a whole lot of the same blankness that's on the front end of a video that you guys, or sorry, a stream that you guys see. So I haven't gone and cut all that off. And so I'm thinking about playing around with how effective it might be for me to re-audio the videos to put up there. Just so that it's a little easier to, what's the word? There's one. Yeah, so it's a little easier to put them up without them being blank. So my question for myself is how much effort do I want to put in? I need to experiment with that. Because it's one thing to be gung-ho to start, and then another to try and keep that up, and that's challenging. We had stream weekend on the weekend. I did not build Lego. I attempted a trial chamber in Minecraft, and made a mountain out of a molehill, basically. Yes, those things can be exciting. Yes, they can be very action-filled. But there's also ways to go through so snail cautiously that it actually is more like watching paint dry. I tried watching a bit of my video or my VOD yesterday, but I was already in a bad mood, and unfortunately that did not help. So I don't think I'm going to do anything different on Tuesday. But I'm recognizing that I play Minecraft more like a cozy game, and keep putting in the same amount of I don't know, effort isn't the word. But anyways, it's slowness and stuff, so that it might as well be a cozy game, and that's not necessarily healthy for the game. But anyways, point on that was just that we've got a ways to go. We've been given permission to tear the trial chamber apart when we're done, so I may be doing that. We'll see, because I'd like to preserve the timered spawners, just so that I can reuse them again and again. So we'll see about how I want to tackle that. Okay, this one. This is one of those sets that if a piece goes missing, it's not necessarily criminal, I guess. But also, because of the house colors involved in Harry Potter sets, I actually may have some of the extras for these if something went sideways. But LEGO's usually pretty good at giving spare parts for their sets, especially ones with lots of tiny bits. I still have not found the conical shaped piece that I need for the Durmstrang ship, so we just haven't had a reason and or time to make a trip to our local used brick shop. So I need to do that at some point, or ask the kids if there's anything that they've torn up and are in their bins upstairs that I could steal. Just because I have the pin set aside for that ship and I want to get the sail reattached. Attached where it should be. Okay, move this forward. DC used to go to local. Turns out it just wasn't his cup of tea, from what I can gather. And also the streaming hours are different. Local also does, I guess, some more after dark-ish streams on occasion. Partly so that he can play games that are not necessarily 100% family friendly. And there's quite a number of streamers I'm noting are doing that. where they're mostly family friendly during whatever would be daytime of their time zone, and then outside of that, they can be their attitude and personal demeanor doesn't really change, but the games they play do, and the type of stuff they let people get away with in chat changes, and that makes them risky as raid targets in some cases. So there's a few that I found that I can handle them most of the time, and I may still keep watching them when they're in the other streams, but I realized that I can't raid them. Because Twitch, my feature request for the year is that you actually add the ability for us to sort channels, because as a raider, frequently we need different channels to be able to raid into than the ones that we might choose to watch personally. Now, although this says Winter Market Stall, I was mentioning to Fantastic Sherlock Fox last night, based on the scale, it doesn't necessarily fit with, but would look half decent next to this year's Winter Holiday Train gift with purchase. So we could choose to keep it as the Winter Market Stall if that's its theme, but I mean, I could always put it with the train, potentially as maybe a ticket booth for the train that happens to do a few other things, because these days, some smaller, say, bus depot type places would have the ticket stall, but then it'd also have opportunities to buy a coffee or grab a couple of bags of like dried snacks or something at the same counter, just so you could take them on the bus with you. We're not talking city buses, we're talking inter-urban center buses. But then I will say that's also a bit of an outdated thought, because in our province, most of those services have disappeared. There's a few that do runs between certain major urban centers, but for the most part, it disappeared. Just because it became not financially viable for the companies anymore. There we go. We used to have, I remember growing up, we used to have Greyhound service in Canada. And Greyhound, I believe... Yeah, I think Greyhound was the one that did all the mainland, but they didn't do the Vancouver Island. Oops, wrong side. At the back. They didn't do Vancouver Island, which fell to a company called Pacific Coach Lines, and I didn't find out whether or not Pacific is still around. I didn't recall seeing any of their buses when I was last out there with the kids last summer, but that doesn't mean they aren't there anymore. But the Greyhound ones, you could ship packages with them, as well as be able to ride their buses and stuff. And so I remember hopping on the bus, sometimes actually by myself. When I was a kid, my grandmother would always come visit us from small town Saskatchewan, so the province to our east, would come visit us by the bus. So we'd have to go pick her up at the bus depot. And when I got to be a teen, I remember my mom would just ask me to hop on the bus, and we'd go, and I'd go off to grandma's, and she'd meet me my grandmother would meet me at the other end, which was a great memory to have. I also remembered in the very late 90s, I used to hop the Greyhound bus from my city in Calgary and head south to a city called Lethbridge, where I was going to college. And I actually really quite liked the bus rides. I didn't necessarily talk to people, you didn't really have to, but sometimes the buses would be full enough that you'd have, a seatmate beside you, and you wouldn't necessarily have to talk to them, but they were interesting people on occasion. So I missed some of that part. I found it sort of soothing, relaxing to ride the bus. But that's something that has gone into history. Not quite something that I think our kids wouldn't understand yet, because we still have urban buses, but it's sort of the notion of having a coach bus that was with quite comfy seats. Actually, I would say in a lot of cases they beat the airline seats easily in terms of comfort. But it's something our kids just wouldn't really have too much problem conceptualizing, even though they'd have no opportunity for experience with it. For the most part, I don't think... Pretty sure actually my son has never had a chance to ride a coach bus, and I know for sure my daughter has not. Oh, no, actually that's not quite true. That's not quite true. We did have one opportunity while we were out at Jamboree, because they were using coaches as shuttle buses between the major city of Victoria down to where we were. Like to where we were staying. So I think that we got to ride a coach bus there. Well, okay, now that I remember the story correctly, ride is a little optimistic. Sat in is probably more accurate, because the coach bus, unfortunately, the one that they'd hired, had air conditioning issues in two different ways. One, the air conditioning didn't work and the windows were not openable except in an emergency. So the first bus that they had like that, the group coming in from the ferry terminal had to be on the bus for a very long time, and there were a few that actually had some heat exhaustion and were feeling sick by the time the bus arrived, just like at camp, just because it was too stuffy. And so that wasn't good news. So the organizers, of course, hopped on that one and like got on the company and said, no, this is no good, you've got to deal with this. And so we got a different one where the one that I sat on, was supposed to be going back towards Victoria for day excursions, but the air conditioning in that one worked, but the problem was as soon as you turned it on, the bus would stall and throw an error in such a way that the driver was not able to shift it out of park. Because of I guess whatever it was doing, it had some electronics that were running the an automatic bus, or not automatic gear shift. These days those are all computer controlled. But I guess the air conditioning system, whatever it was doing wrong, was sucking too much energy. So as soon as you tried to ask the computer to do something else, it wouldn't let you shift out of the park gear, or out of any gear. So they got it briefly running. Like, I got the bus running, and then they turned off the air conditioning, shifted gear, turned the air conditioning back on, and it started to pull out. First stop sign the bus, that throws another error, electronics related, and just stops altogether. They couldn't get it started to get in gear, out of gear, anything else. So they had to bring up a school bus to get us off. Fun. But that's not the kind of memory you want to remember, so I'm kind of glad that I didn't remember a whole ton of that till now. And I sort of hope I forget so that I don't bring it up in front of the kids, because, yeah. I'm fairly certain they didn't remember that because they wouldn't have wanted to. What have we got here? These ones. Backwards. Pop culture is literature for Mark Twain characters. Oh, 4 of them. Well, there's Huckleberry Finn, and then there's the name Jack or something. The guy that Huck Finn was with. Yeah. Tom Sawyer, maybe? That's another one. People don't read Mark Twain much anymore, and I can't blame them. Part of the reason for that is, by today's standards, it would not be necessarily considered appropriate school reading. I don't think I had to read it in school either, but I knew people who did. Okay, now I'm suddenly having a hankering to watch the Star Trek Next Generation episodes that had somebody playing Mark Twain. Sometimes I would say, oh, hey, yeah, we'll do that on holidays, like on the holiday break. I'm realizing as an adult, that's not a thing anymore. Whether you've had kids or not, it's still not a thing. Life runs too fast these days, and holidays aren't really holidays anymore. Like, holidays are maybe days off from employment, but that's about as far as it gets. And days off from employment are sometimes unwelcome and unwanted. That one, This one here. Okay. Next piece. We get to build. I don't know what that is. I'd love to say I think it's a cash register, because this is supposed to be a market stall, but I think it's actually some sort of, is it popcorn machine or something? I don't know. Interesting. Got 2 little gray pieces. And then we need a clear block. Solid gray, okay. Black, square. Like a cap. 8. I'd love to say it looks like a coffee machine, but I really don't think it does. It does and it doesn't all at once. I don't know. Anybody got a guess? Oh, that's not gonna help. Okay. Autofocus is a little sus on this machine. Alright, so this one goes on the front of the counter. Here. What do we got next? Some red thing. Alright. The conical piece with a tan on top. Maybe. There we go. And then red. One side. Ooh, I like this one. I can see what it's going to be. That's kind of cute, actually. Oops, wrong way. So then we need black bit, the white cap, white piece. Let me turn it over. I think that's meant to represent one of those little toy soldiers. I like that. That's really cool. I like that build. It sits on the counter on this back side here. On. Up on. Dylan, don't press too hard. There we go. He just sits in the back corner there. Blue. Gray. Come on. Now, please. Thank you. Blue, gray. Tip it over. It's another blue. I'm not entirely sure how this is Christmassy, but it's on the list. Apparently this is good old Christmas Day. I'm not sure how it's good old Christmas Day, but I'm gonna let her go. This way. That. And a black square. Oh. I did it wrong. I was doing things a little weird. Still don't know what that is, though. Oh, I see what it's going to be. Okay. Okay. This works better. And then this one on the front. Now I can see what it's supposed to be. Black. Cool, and they're using roller skates. So these little bits, you guys can probably see those fairly clearly. Those are minifigure roller skates as parts. But they're going to use those on the bottom of the little blue blob I just built to be train wheels. That's kind of cool. one has to go towards the back. So the lip is the bumper. And I'm going to assume the one on the front. Yeah, goes the other way. There we go. So we got our little train with wheels. Whoa. Autofocus. Hello. Thank you. There we go. And that goes on the other side of the little stall. I'll get it snapped in here and then I'll show you guys. It's kind of blocked. There we go. Turn. There, so we can see that the little train is in there. Where are we now? Bag 2. Really? That doesn't... Yeah, okay. So we have a lot of extra parts from the first one. We were not asked to put a mug in yet. And there's a bunch of extra little bits this way that I don't see us using. I missed one spot. That seems to be about it. Yeah. So I'm actually this time, normally I'd put these away in a different container, but I think I'm just going to push these off to the side for a change. Give some gal some money. I saw that sitting there. There we go. Little money brick for her. Let's get words. Next bag open. Some of the song titles are a little weird. Quickly to be right back and sniffle. I'll be right with you. All right, so back. Got the train goes in there. The next bag, I'm making a rocket of sorts. Need those parts. So we've got the rocket base, and then we've got center section, white piece. That. I have a white and a conical. Okay, there's the cone. And there's the white. That's actually not bad approximation. I mean, it looks to me a lot like the Minecraft fireworks. That's pretty cool. It sits next to the toy soldier. Pushing the days in a bad spot, but I'm gonna leave it. Okay. We need to put some white flat pieces on the roof. I'm assuming that we're going to be dealing with snow on here at some point. But maybe that's what this is. The reason I think I'm going to want the better autofocus on the camera is that it's autofocusing on my arm every time I go through for a part. and then it has to read autofocus when I bring my arm back again. Into the writing, that doesn't help anybody. This one. Quite straight. There we go. 4. Let's see. After that sniffle, I think I'm going to, I have a feeling like I'm going to sneeze, so if you suddenly lose sound, that's what happened. I had to make the choice between decongestant meds and focus meds, and I decided on the focus meds today, knowing that messed me up for the rest of the week as far as decongestant meds go. But it is something that I think is more important at the moment, to be a little more in control. A little bit more. So. One. This set says ages 8 and up. I'm thinking, yep, that works because they've got the dexterity. But on the other hand, ages 8 and up is also probably referencing the fact that you've got smaller fingers. Go. Square, right? And then we need 2 tan bits and 2 white circles. 1 and 2. Let's see, Geek Out has rolled. Name one Disney film in which Anne Hathaway is cast. Oh, I can picture her in an outfit too. So I know whatever it is, I've seen it. But I can't seem to think. Princess Diaries, maybe? Yeah. I want to see now, just for curiosity's sake. I may regret this. Just made a small change, but we'll see how it goes. Wrong button. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this, but I've just turned on as a a gut reaction test to find out whether or not I can actually talk to our fine bot friend here. So we'll see what happens. I just haven't got the guts to use it at this very second, even though I thought about asking him something. So this could fail as a test. Okay, I need 2 1x2 flat pieces. They go on the ends. I can handle that. Ah, they're there. Okay, I was looking for these and not seeing them because they were bottom side up. these curve things. So they're actually, you can see that they've got the curve shape to them. I'm assuming we're working on the roof section for the main part of the market stall. So I'm just going to slide. Actually, let's move these extra bits just off screen. And now I'm going to put the market stall over here for now. And then we can actually add back to it later, so I can use more of this space on this side. Yeah, I should put that completely off for the moment. There we go. Move the 2 minifigs. Now I've got space to work. All right, so we've got the roof coming together slowly. And it's got packages up in what I'm assuming is going to be like attic storage. So we've got some blue bits to put together. One blue top. There's going to be a red package as well. There's the blue bottom, red top. I need 2 yellow centers. I like this particular yellow. This is one that's more of a cream yellow, I guess, as opposed, I don't think you're going to be able to see much difference on the camera. Maybe? We'll see. But, so the one on the left is the one I like. It's sort of almost more of a custard yellow, as opposed to the one on the right is very, like, crayon yellow. I like the custard yellow. I was about to call it Nanaimo yellow, but if you haven't had a Nanaimo bar, you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. So they're not actually named after the town of Nanaimo, although that's one of the wives' tale stories people get told. But a Nanaimo bar is a dessert item, very sweet. If you guys haven't had them, definitely look it up on the internet and try to make them. We used to be able to buy them in our local shop, but like our Sobeys, which is, I don't know if you guys have an equivalent in the US. One of the videos I was watching says that it's not part of, like, it's not a chain in the US the way it is in Canada. Anyhow, they used to do a very good job at Nanaimo bars at Sobeys with a small selection. Nanaimo bars and brownies would be on the same plate. But a Nanaimo bar, how do I describe one? It's kind of, thank you for the ad notice, Oswin. It's kind of, Oswin, how would you describe a Nanaimo bar? I don't know if that would be doable or not. Not sure. Okay, so anyway, yeah, they're sweet, they're chocolatey. The bottom layer is all chocolate. With, like, sometimes you'll have a coconut bit in there, sometimes you won't. It's if your grandmother ever made squares for things, you know, it's like a more chocolatey, I've seen oatmeal based ones and stuff. And anyway, then it's got the custard layer in the middle, which is quite literally, it's like a sugar and butter kind of mix.
Ads are starting. Dylan will continue the conversation after the ads are over. Thank you for supporting the stream.
The ads are a little longer than usual, and that's intentional by, well, intentional by accident. Let me put it this way. I was playing around with whether or not we could get guaranteed fewer ads by having them longer. We'll see how that goes. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, this is your get up and stretch type of comment, so if you don't have ad-free viewing, then yeah, this is the point where I would really recommend go take a stretch. Take a stretch, you know, go for a walk, fill your drink, that sort of thing. I think making them longer to be less frequent was actually a bad idea. So, yeah, very much a bad idea. Let's see, where are we here? Wrong button. Yeah, I think we're just going to go with that. I don't really need the funding right now. Does it save? I think it saves. Okay, well, hopefully we won't have that happen too much off. Once we really once we really start to get rolling after Christmas and New Year's and stuff with some of the projects we've got coming up, one of the thoughts I want to figure out, I'm going to run a poll, probably, if I'm organized. That's a big if, because I'm generally not organized. But one of the thoughts I'd had is I've been sitting on a lot of your revenue for a while. That's excluding the bit that's currently tied up in the post. I'm not going there today because people in Discord have heard enough from me about that. Anyhow, the long and the short of it is that other than paying for Epidemic Sound, I've actually been sitting on the revenue because I didn't want to squander it on nothing. But what I think I'm going to start doing with it is, because it's not a necessary part of our day-to-day, bill paying kind of thing, and it's not a great deal, no offense intended, but it isn't. I keep turning it down. Like I keep saying, ad share, drop it down to this because I want fewer
Ads are
ads.
starting. Dellen will continue the conversation after the ads are over. Thank you for supporting the stream.
Oh my god. So sorry, guys. So very, very sorry. Ads are not finished. That's from the last round. Hokey Dinah. I don't know what I just did there. I broke it. Anyway, the point I was trying to make is, because we don't need it for day-to-day treats, then maybe what I think I'll do is start hanging on to it as a little bit of bonus to potentially help with adventures for the kids. And what I mean by that is not scouting in general, but I mean it could go towards the next Jamboree depending on how our fundraising's going, but it could also be used to do things like buy an extra ticket to take the kids to one of the Broadway shows coming to town or something like that, just to help them have experiential stuff that might normally be outside the budget. Now, Fox can definitely, help with that. We're not strapped for cash in any stretch of the imagination, but there's things that I don't necessarily think the kids would have jumped up and down for that I would like to have them have exposure to. So if I just pay for it, then they kind of don't really get to say no. And I've had a few experiences already where they would have said no. We paid for something, they went to it, they actually enjoyed themselves and said they were glad they went. And so I might start doing that with it. I don't know. I really want to start doing something fun with it rather than just sitting on it. And I probably will also, now that I've mucked around with it a bit, if I remember, I'll try and run a poll long term. Because you guys can respond to emotes, I may throw it in the announcements channel just so that it doesn't get lost. And actually, or potentially even have a polls channel because I run so many stupid little polls. But where I'm going with this is to say, hey, what do you guys want for ads or not want for ads? Because I can't decide. There's pros and cons to all sorts of directions. And if nobody responds, nobody responds, and I just keep deciding on my own. That's fine too. Ooh! We know Dellen breaks things. Lots of things. Okay. I understand why they wanted the black support sections in, because they can be harder to put in afterwards, but I sort of wish they would have put it in after putting the plate on it. Looks like it's got enough support, though, that I can press pretty hard, so that's fine. What do we got? This particular song is called Christmas is Coming. But it does not seem to be a repeat of previous stuff. Where are we at? Okay. We've got about 45 minutes max left, which means we may not get into the holiday train. I would like to. So we're not going to get super far, but let's see how we can do things. I keep derailing and slowing everything down because this set, cheesily enough, is only 271 pieces. And Oh boy, we're like an hour and 15 minutes in. I mean, I'll admit I was a couple minutes late starting the actual stream, so there is that. But this far, so let's say we're about an hour and 10 minutes in, I guess. Do the build. So one of the things people can look up online is need this plate, but I also need, is that a half? Oh, okay, it's a half. I was looking for a full circle. One of the things people can look up online is there are people who will report on average how long it takes them to build a particular set. Sometimes they have different reasons on why, so as in, they had something else to do, so they just built a set and crushed it through, or they said, yeah, I acknowledge I was, half listening to a television show in the background while I, while I was building the set, so it took me a little bit longer, but people just generally say, yeah, it should take you about whatever. I have not looked that up for this set, but that is definitely something that you can find online, and you will just about 100% of the time find that the amount of time it takes me to build on stream is almost always going to be longer than it would be if you were to build it yourself at home. Go. This one. That side. There we go. Next. It wants the roof on. Here. Do we have enough height? No, we do. This one. Roof snaps on. Yay. I like the chimney. I'm not quite sure why they have a chimney thing there. You can see in the back we've got presents going on. Yep. So what are we looking for? 2 songs from Little Mermaid. Oh, yeah. I know I'll know that song later on, and now I'm gonna have it stuck in my head, because I've got part of the lyrics, but I can't seem to get enough of it to get the title out of it. Because she's talking, well, singing at Ariel about her voice and making a contract, while her 2 eels, Flotsam and Jetsam, were being annoying, I guess. They're running around, or not running around, swimming around Ariel. And she says something along the lines of, Flotsam and Jetsam boys, the boss is on a roll. Poor unfortunate soul. There you go. Poor unfortunate souls, I guess. There you go. And yes, I probably could do a bit of that. Should I? No. But now that I got stuck in my head, I hope there's another song that comes to my head. Under the Sea. Oh, Part of Your World is another one. That's that one where Ariel's singing about wanting to be up where the people are. And now I've got that stuck in my head. Cheapers! I am so prone to earworms today. Wow. So that suggests then that I'm going to have to go and do something after stream to put different songs in my head. Because being Christmas, I want something else. I'm just gonna... Oh, it will let me pull it off. Okay. I'm a little disappointed because I think I mentioned last week that I wanted to watch Mrs. Santa Claus. It's a made-for-TV movie that starred Angela Lansbury as the title role. And it's part of my annual must-view list. Now, I admit I haven't watched it for a couple of years. But the problem was, we owned the DVD at some point. And my mother asked a couple weeks ago if she could borrow the DVD. I can't find it. I thought I loaned it to her last year. I don't recall getting it back. But she swears up and down she doesn't have it. I asked my mother-in-law if she has it by any chance. It's uncommon for her to borrow stuff like that without returning it, because usually she's oddly good at that. She doesn't have it either. Fantastic Sherlock Fox, and I looked all over, and I've even looked afterwards, and he and I can't find it. And he... Oops. I should just put this in. And I even looked after we looked together to see if I could find it. And it's not there, but all the other movies that I had shoved in a bag to watch with our Cub Scout youth, not last year, year before, I guess, like they're all there. So everything that I had loaned to, scouts and stuff last year is there, except that one. And even our DVD is actually like out of the bag and plugged in and stuff, so I don't know where it went. But I still have been listening to the soundtrack. And I mean, I've got a great visual memory, so that's fine. It's gonna do. But I'm still disappointed because I wanted to actually sit down and watch it. The problem is, though, if I sat down and watched it in the house, I'd probably sing along, which is not great. Part of the reason I know my mother-in-law is unlikely to have it, even though I did ask her, because last I remembered seeing the Mrs. Santa Claus DVD, it was in the bag with one that I lent my mother this year, but it was a Hallmark movie that I had been given on DVD by my mother-in-law. Have I been calling her my grandmother this whole time? That's wrong. Holy moly. Way wrong. Anyways, I asked my mother-in-law if she had it, but she didn't. But I've been given this Hallmark movie by her. It's called November Christmas. And because it is what it is, being a Hallmark movie, you can tell I was very, very enthused to watch it. How many years has it been? 4 or 5? No, more than that, since she gave it to me. But when my mother asked to borrow something and I didn't have Mrs. Santa Claus, and I did have something else she wanted to watch, I figured, well, I'll just throw this in too. So that's when I took the plastic wrapping off it. The commercial wrapper you get in the store? Yeah. That's the first time the commercial wrapper had been off of this November Christmas. And I had to break the little seal that keeps the DVD case closed and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, don't give me DVDs of Hallmark movies. Sorry. I will never watch them. Ever. So she didn't know that. And I mean, really, I think it transpired after that. That at some point we'd had a conversation about it, not wanting to be offensive, just saying, oh yeah, haven't had time to watch that one. She goes, don't worry about it, it's not a big deal. I just wanted to throw it in because it was one of the ones that I found in like the Walmart discount bin. It's like, oh well, okay, well then I don't really mind. And frankly, that's the best place to find them, is in the Walmart discount bin. I see a lot of the Hallmark type movie discs available still at places like dollar stores. So when you end up with maybe a Dollar General or a Dollar Plus store, or in the UK I think they would call them Poundland. When you end up with places like that, then yeah, they have tons of these sorts of movies. Or if you in our area, you can pick up movies at the drugstore. So we have like a Shoppers Drug Mart. It's a corner store. It's got like everything. I shouldn't say everything, but it's got like books and makeup and things you'd want to grab in short order. And it's basically become a convenience store with a pharmacy in the back. And you can buy DVDs there, and you find a lot of the Hallmark movie type DVDs on the shelves there as well. A few of the bigger blockbusters, but most of the time it's the Hallmark ones, until the bigger blockbusters get into discount bundle territory. So we've got ourselves... I know that's supposed to be a snowman, but Lego designers, you've done better. You want a multi-part snowman, okay, great, but the head, I don't know. I guess it saves them printing anything or putting stickers on, because I'm not really sure how you get the carrot nose on. But a lot of what I was thinking of would be the canister-shaped ones, or even a minifig head ball might have worked. Oh well, whatever. So little standalone snowman. What do we have now? Okay, looks like we're building a Christmas tree. So for those of you that need yet another Christmas tree design, we've got one here for you. And I've got another one. We were looking at round Christmas tree designs a while back. I think I posted a picture of like 8 or 10 or something like that I've got. And there is more, because I've got another one from this year's advent calendar from Harry Potter that is yet again a different design than usual. Harry Darts is talking about the quote of the day: make a mix of instant noodles and a tin of beans and sausage. And it looks and sounds horrific, but it's a great snack. Well, I'll say one thing for you, Terry Darts. You would go well with one of our other community members. He's a UK gentleman by the name of Cold Reindeer, or more accurate, he's in the Dadcraft community. And he's one of the UK set who has an absolute obsession with tin beans. And I can see in certain situations that dish might be yummy. Now, you're saying instant noodles. Are we talking something like pot noodle, like a ramen or something? Or are we talking more about like a macaroni package? I'm kind of curious. Beans and sausage. So that might be... Because over here we can get a Heinz branded product, and there's another one, I can't remember who else does it. And I'm trying to remember what the Brit name for Heinz is, because there is a different name over there for a lot of it. So it's a W. But anyways, that has like wieners, I guess, like hot dog sausages in with the beans, and they do wieners and beans. Oh, like, yeah. So pot noodle. Now, would you include or exclude the seasoning from your pot noodle?
Howdy.
All the UK people are popping up today. Hey, Tiger Darts. Hey, Jay. Good to see you guys both. Hopefully you're having a good time. You know, Jay, I was thinking about you just yesterday. I think I mentioned it somewhere. I know I talked about it on Friday as well. But I saw the Secret Santa stuff that you had posted. So Dadcraft's community has done a real life, like an offline Secret Santa. There's a website called drawnames.com. There's actually international versions of it, but they don't link the same. So we're using the American one. But anyways, you can actually set up Secret Santa stuff where you can put in interests and a gift list if you want, and so on. But the only person who gets to see your name, or not your name, your address, is the person who drew you as the person their Secret Santa gifting to. And I really like that. But aside from that, Jay had posted what she had received from Secret Santa. And one is a big epic Minecraft book, which I think our house might have. I'm not sure. But then she also got a wrist strap carrier thing that holds a ball of yarn, I believe it is. And I really, really like those. Actually, I've mentioned it to Fantastic Shock Box. I think if I look hard enough, I might be able to 3D print one of those, but I can also possibly design my own and then 3D print it, because that idea is fantastic. I'd love to have one of those, because I go to my daughter's soccer game, and I'd love to be able to get back into knitting socks while I'm watching. But the problem with that is that frequently my mother comes, and so she doesn't do well getting up and down from the soccer field anymore. Like, she can't sit on the field, so she has to lean against the wall on the side, because it's an indoor soccer at this time of year. And she, because she's got really bad knees and a bad hip, and so I want to be able to, socially keep talking to her, but you can't really have yarn in your lap, right? It doesn't work so well. Weird. Sorry, I am really quite surprised, because although we've got some decoration to do to the stand itself with some of the extra parts, there's actually quite a lot of extra parts. So this is your Christmas tree for the year. I definitely will be adding stuff to that, doing a bit of a mod to it. what I'm going to be doing is this bit that we had earlier, the little panhandle thing. I have other studs that can go on the top, like it'll be like a singular circle stud, but it's got a hole in the center. So I'll do that and then mount this. And I have a few, from previous advent calendars, I've got a few like Lego stars, so I'll put a star on it, just so that we've got a star on top of our tree. I like the look a little better. But anyway, so that yarn thing would be super handy for me to be able to keep standing and talking to my mom while she and I are both watching the soccer game. So we've got a snowman and the tree. Oh, fell over. If it falls over too much, then I might just swap the bases, because this circular base here will work for the tree. So anyway, let's get the pieces put on. So we have a mug for the coffee machine. Oh, pieces plural. Well, that was it. Probably not there because we could put it in one of the minifigs' hands. So speaking of minifigs, one of the things I like to do with some of these is just mount the minifig on the edge of, maybe this will be your shopkeeper, mount the minifig on the edge of the build so that they don't fall off. But if this is the shopkeeper, let's put her inside. Come on, stay. So now she's in there, ready to sell dude his hot chocolate, maybe? Set that back by one. I'll give him the money, which is 100 units. Lego money, I don't think I've seen anything less than a 10. So I'm going to pretend that this is not actually as much money as it could sound, because it was $100. That's an awful lot. You don't need $100 when you go up to a snack station. Okay, you can maybe, I don't know, let's twist the handle. You fit. I'm playing with it. Lovely. Okay, there we go. Oops, he actually has to stand on the thing to buy stuff. Maybe? I don't know. We'll just put him on the corner then. Alright, so we've got our little guys, we've got the tree and the snowman. So I'm going to set this off to the side so we can get going on the other piece. I know we have only about 25 minutes left, but let's get a start on the other train. And it's going to need to be done with the instructions visible, like as in the actual booklet. This is a lot of extra parts. Aside from a couple of squares, these tan ones, which I don't think I missed anywhere, but I can always figure out later where they go. It's not a huge deal. I don't see any duplicated parts, and that's the big key for me, is even though there's a lot of spare bits, they're not duplicated. So lacking duplication usually suggests I haven't missed a step. But we're going to get into the holiday train, so let me just get the name changed on this one and hide the instructions we've got. Not that. Sorry. Hide. Not. Yeah, there we go. You can see the mess in the corner. That's a mess. It's fine. I guess I'll put that one visibly within reason. Come on, you. Get out of the way. Too much mess. There we go. Will do. Alright, so the next one, once again, is Creator. This is a gift with purchase. It's the winter holiday train. We've looked up the number and it just does not appear. So being as we won't get this one finished, I do have a color PDF scanner. So I'm going to see if maybe Fantastic Shock Fox can help me with that. Or the other thing I'm going to try and play with is there should be a way to feed my tablet into OBS. I just have never figured it out. But if I do that, then there is a Lego building app where you can get the instructions for just about everything, and it also allows you to do things with some animations and 3D spins and whatever, and it looks super cool. I just have to remember how to get, as I say, have to get the tablet feed in. So, we've got this one. So, Fantastic Shock Fox might be able to oh, this one, oh, okay. I don't mind real, like, physical books most of the time, but I like it when it's nice and flat, like this one is. This one's a little janky, and because we don't have it digitized, that's annoying. Very, very annoying. Ready bag 1, 3, 2, So this, the one that we had done before was 271 parts. Part of the reason we have time for the next one, that's going to take another stream, is because that one's 294 parts. So we know that we can do this. Now the thing is though, because it's a Christmas holiday train, what are we doing? Fox, do you have any reason why I shouldn't go long today? Because I could just push it through. Let's see what the calendar looks like as in the dates. Yeah, next Monday will be the 23rd. Okay, no, I'm not going to push through because we can probably fit in one more stream before Christmas. In which case I can finish the train on that one. Alright, so, type 1. Jay was saying, if I have to build it, Jay, I definitely will. If I have to build the yawn thing, I will definitely ask you for clearer pictures. But I think we should be good. The other thing is I definitely won't get around to it until after Christmas. I was being totally spacey. Kiss the girl. Okay, gotcha. Sorry, I was looking at the Disney question. Geek Out has switched. What did it become? 2 characters who wear golden jewelry. Yeah, Jasmine and I think Belle does at one point. So Jay says she's designed her own crochet hook storage stand and she's just waiting to make it. So is it, do you have the ability to make things like that? Or is it someone, like you need to connect with somebody you know to get it made? Because I'm terrible at those sorts of things. Not that, but as in like actually getting around to making anything. There's a lot of things that should be in the queue, but I haven't. And I've been talking to Fantastic Sherlock Fox about whether or not I will start getting back into some of the 3D printing. My reluctance often has to do with the fact that the good printer that's just easy to rattle something off and off you go is one that is actually far better for what he needs during Christmas season. So we have fewer failed prints, and that's just because it's a higher quality printer. So the expensive Bamboo X1 Carbon, I think it is definitely, as I say, pricey. But once you get a print rolling, usually you can just go with the quality. Wood and metal. Nice. I'll be curious to see how that turns out. So it's great to rattle stuff off on this bamboo, but it's just, I don't want to during Christmas because I don't really know what I want right now in terms of like other than just to print something to say, hey, I did it. And this thing is useful to me, but I don't really have any must prints right now. And there's a bit of a lineup because he's got some stuff he wants to print himself. Then there's some ornament things. I just about was going to show you mine from last year, but I don't know where I put it. Yeah, I don't know where I put it. Oh, and I forgot to wear a hat today. Oh well, wear hats on Wednesday. I'm going with this. Okay. There, that's enough sorting, right? Right. Okay, let's get into it, or I'm going to be totally discombobulated. 1, 2. Need a paperweight. Will the frog be heavy enough? Frog? Turtle? Turtle? Yeah, turtle works for now. I might need a different one. All right. Sandwich. So, I'm looking at getting back into things. Like, we do have 2 different printers, and I want to try getting our less commonly used one into service, because then I have no sort of gut concerns about running into things that Fantastic Sherlock Fox is working on, because then we're not using the same printer. The other one's a little fiddlier for me to get involved with, just because I can't remotely send projects to it. I need to actually walk in and put a a card and a machine, I think. Although, actually, I think I might be able to do some remotes. I can't remember. Fox was telling me about it recently, where I can, I think it's actually slice up the file and then save it and upload it to a website. That then will put it on a camera device that we have connected to the printer, which it will physically tell the printer what to do. Or tell the printer, here's the file, and the printer, you know how that works. We'll have to see, because I want to play first with changing some things. So, yeah. I never, make things easy for myself. I always want to make it complicated by changing stuff right out of the gate. Because I've read something or heard something or other that, well, this is supposed to be better because blah, 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 blah. And then I get myself mired to a point where I'm scared, which I get scared super duper easy, so it's not a big deal. Well, it is, but it's not notable, I guess. But I get scared, and then I'm like, Fox, help, what do I do? And he's like, you can do this. And really, I can, but there's also the one more thing on my plate. And so I just need to do stuff. You would like a 3D printer, but I think it'd be more of a 5-minute wonder than it would just sit there gathering dust. Yes and no. What's funny about that is there's quite a number of things, particularly crafting things, where we've looked at, hey, Amazon has this really great blah, 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 whatever for like, under $100. That's not bad pricing. Maybe we should just order it. And then you find either somebody else has pre-designed it, or it's easy enough to design and or monsterize yourself. Like, a lot of people just do, the free program Tinkercad and just print stuff from there. Then there's tons of free designs. But the point is, we found some stuff. Like, my mother-in-law wanted a stand. So she's got some fancy quilting rulers she uses, because trained seamstress and all that, and she's got a lovely sewing room and so forth. Anyways, she wanted this thing, and she saw a neat one that was like about $100 or whatever. And Fantastic Sherlock Fox said, well, how about these designs? And started showing her a bunch of 3D print ones, and she picked one that she liked. And when we looked at the guesstimated cost, we put the, you can put the value of how much you paid for your spool into the slicing program. And it spit out, it's like, oh, well, this is going to cost you maybe 40 cents in spooled plastic, plus whatever your power cost was. And she's like, oh, well, we're going to print that then. And we printed it, and it actually came out really well. We didn't end up having any failed prints. So, even if we'd had, three failed prints, we still would have been under $1. So it became much cheaper. We don't do everything that way. There are a lot of things I would not think to 3D print, but I guess another part of that would also be, do I really want as much of the world in plastic? Right, that's another piece of it. So I think we have one spool, potentially, of wood grain material that has like sawdust in it to give it more of a wood look when you print with it. And that comes in multiple different colors so that you can print things looking differently. We also have the ability to print carbon fiber carbon fiber supported, laced, I guess, materials. And haven't done that yet, but that's something that we've got some test spool material to do. So there's a lot of things that we could do. Of late, I just haven't really needed anything. Now, one of the things that theoretically we could do, and we've done one or two pieces, is just about every one of the base set of Lego parts has been modeled on 3D for printing. Not legally. Nobody's going to, come knock on your door and be like, you have fake Lego. And we're not selling it, right? So theoretically, we could print Lego sets. I don't know. Somehow I'd rather have Weebricks than do that. However, once again, I've mentioned that I don't have a problem with the concept for certain things. So, for example, there is a stand piece that someone's designed that I probably will print, because it allows me to have like a 2x2. Like I said, it's this effect really. So it's like a 2x2, okay, that you could then plant your minifigure on, and they've designed on a hook that goes on the back that fits into a slot in the IKEA branded pegboard, and that way you could display your minifigures. So I like that. So I mean, for pieces that don't exist, sure. Or for example, my son quite likes he prefers brand name Lego whenever possible. So sometimes he's turned his nose up at the idea, but he quite likes the what do you call it? Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, I believe. So movie 5, the Hoth planet. He really quite likes stuff like that. And unfortunately, Lego has completely discontinued, as far as I know, the large base plates in white. And so in general, but my son loves making battle scenes and stuff, like in sort of battle in progress type scenes. And by not having those base plates, it means that there's stuff all over the table, which is fine, but it's, when we ask him to move things off the coffee table, it's a much bigger process and a much bigger ask, because it's not just an easy grab your plate and off you go. So in theory then, I don't have an issue with printing more of those. We've printed a few of them, and they've held together really well, because he's not always popping things on and off, like sort of a diorama and sit for a while. But, conception, because that piece has ever existed, maybe I shouldn't be doing that. One of the other pieces that has, same vein, that has been designed, and I can kind of see why people might do it, is more of the base plate, smaller pieces. So so these sorts of things, because they've got the stuff on the bottom, whatever, they're called plates, right? This small, but there's the bigger ones. I think 8x8s are popular. 16x16s are really popular, because the mass base plate that you can't put things on is 32. And with that, the 8x8s and 16x16s are quite popular for building what's called a Mills plate. So basically, it's popular in the modular community as well, for those that are building cities and villages and dioramas and whatever, like in bigger sense. And those Mills plates, it's a sandwich where you've got the big base plate with a whole bunch of supports. Frequently, I just used the one, but frequently a 2x1 full thick, like these sort of green size, around the edge to hold it up, with gaps in between, and then they've got some 2x2 supports inside. I haven't built one because I've never needed one, but for some of these things, for say the Hoth stuff, it's tempting to buy all the right parts for the base and for the center at the used shop, and then to potentially do some of the white plates that would go on top. But that's partly because finding the right color is a challenge, but also, and he's not much into landscaping, but also, pardon me, just being able to get them done in white, it's handy, and yet printing, buying the plates is expensive, because they're popular enough that individual plates can go for pretty good. Like, I think our used shop, I think the 16x16s were like $2 a piece or more, something like that. But if you're doing a village scene, you've got $8 to $10 or something wound up in just your base. You haven't even built any parts on it yet. So in that case, it's one of those ones where, depending on what you're doing, it's not like you're trying to sell it, right? That's my big thing. Don't sell the fake Lego, ever. But if it's something you need to make your displays viable, I don't have an issue with it. So I mean, the same vein could be said, well, why not just buy them from companies like Weebricks? Because I don't want to support those guys, right? I don't want to support the knockoff crews. I don't want to give them financial viability. I would actually rather they cease to be. But, That's me just being a snot. And I'm good at that. 1, this one's 2 gauges. Gauges for your train. We have about 10 minutes left, I think. I had to get Fantastic Sherlock Fox to help me out today, in terms of starting the stream. Normally, I can get down here on time. Well, on time is when I'm down here. A little bit late when I've had a rough start to the morning. So this isn't square, so the pieces in the front are twisting. But usually I have a remote start. And that involves having remote software running on my computer, which the vast majority of the time I do. But because Stream Weekend I wanted it to go as smoothly as possible without tech hitches, I didn't actually have any remote software running because I shut that part down. Forgot to turn it back on. And by forgetting to turn it back on, I wasn't able to get in this morning to remote start the stream. So yeah, it was oopsies. That's okay. Things happen. So anyway, when the computer is fully asleep, the Stream Deck buttons won't listen. So even though I have a remote Stream Deck button, it just would not cooperate. So I had to get Fox to open the computer and then press the physical version of my remote Stream Deck button to start up the software. And he goes, "Do you want me to start the stream?" I'm like, sure. I'm not used to him being available to do that, but he's got some time off or time away from the office for holidays, use it or lose it kind of deal. So he's more available than I'm used to, and it just feels weird sometimes. But yeah, it does take a fair bit to keep the printers going, for sure. I have to keep reminding myself that we have it and looking for ways to use it. Well, I think we could probably do a little better with keeping it rolling if I can get myself into using it. And yeah, I mean, that is one of the things actually that had occurred to me. My brother is much more into tinkering than we are, in terms of fiddling with things particularly. And I vaguely wondered if we should, because we can't keep them both going, as in with projects at all times, I'm actually vaguely wondering if we should offer our less used printer, so not our Carbon, but the other one. It's a nice one. It's an Anycubic Viper, which does do decent prints. It just needs to be babysat a little bit more. I wonder if we should offer it to him. Yeah, no, 10 minutes to the top of the hour. I do not want to go long on this one today because we've got next week available. And that way, even if things go a little crazy, I can do a shorter stream. So finish up the Lego as the excuse and then drop out if need be. I love the multi-use of these. So we've got hub spoke wheels. Hard to show on screen. I don't want it to... Yeah. There we go. You can see that they've got the car hub wheels. But then on the back side, they've got spokes like this, which can be... In gray, of course, these look great on cars, right? But for train wheels, they work quite nicely. Thank you, autofocus. Yay! Okay, and stay on the other side. Pardon me. We can at least get this part rolling. No bad puns intended. Like, quite literally, this will roll on the desk. But for the printer, I think if we only went down to 1, I think we could probably keep it going reasonably. There's some things we've printed on our Viper that we don't need to print on there. We could do them on the Bamboo. There's really no difference in the build plate volume. So in other words, I can't do helmets on either one of them. Not that I really want to, but I don't have that ability. It's a little fussy on the other printer in some cases too, because it's open air and our basement just isn't conducive to that. My brother's now got kids that, for the most part, are actually pretty good. One of them is a little defiant, and I think there might be a bit of a safety issue having the printer around her, because it's not an enclosed printer. Our Carbon is an enclosed printer, but her brother, who's a bit younger, you would think that he would be trouble, because boys have a supposedly stronger tendency than girls to look with their hands. But he's actually pretty good. When his mom says to look with his eyes and not with his hands, he immediately pulls his hands back like somebody had smacked him. And they've never touched the kid, so I don't know where you got that idea, but it's almost like somebody gave him a jump scare. That's really good. Wow. But sometimes, Oswin, you make no sense. Anyhow, yeah, got the front end just about done here, so 5 minutes. 5 minutes and counting. Okay, I have to stop doing that. One of the things I noticed Fantastic Sherlock Fox did yesterday, and it's just not my style in building, is he would, because his camera, he's using it for, it zooms in beautiful, but he's using it for both a webcam for office meetings, or remote office meetings, and as his Lego desk camera. Where he mounts it is where I'm looking for regular webcam stuff on the top of a monitor. And it does a great job going down to the desk. That's kind of what it's for. Whereas my Lego cam is over my right-hand shoulder, and that, for me, works better because I don't have to adjust, but Fox was adjusting a little bit for you guys to be able to see what's going on by building some of the stuff in reverse. Not in reverse, but like as in showing you guys, so the camera would pick it up correctly, so you guys are seeing it correct. But if this is down on the monitor and I was building from the opposite side, he'd have it this way so it looks right to the picture you're seeing, and yet it would be, for him, backwards to build. He managed to pull it off, and I've done that a few times, but I just find that it means it's more likely for me to make an error, because I'll think things are symmetrical and they're not. I did that a little bit in the Orient Express, I think. Was building it backwards, and that was actually an accident on my part. I was just building it backwards. I don't know why. I just do that sometimes. And it resulted in some mistakes, so I had to pull it apart and fix them. Okay. I know it's suggested building the bits first, but I want to be able to really press, so I wanted to get them on before I did things. Okay, this one. That one. Here. Is there a VOD of Fantastic Sherlock Fox? That is a good question. I have not looked. I've asked, and I don't know. See, the thing is, we're not entirely sure if he's got access. We'll take a look afterwards. But we're not entirely sure if he's got ability to save VODs. There was some question about that. If there is, Jay, I definitely will ask him politely if he will be willing to share it. If not, we will try and see if we can get them turned on, because he's talked about making a few additional streams over the holiday break to get a little bit further on his A-frame cabin. Because it's got 17 bags, and I don't know what number he's on, but it definitely hasn't reached double digits yet. So, something that we can look into for sure. Because if there isn't, and we can confirm that he doesn't have access to do so, yeah, last move probably will be putting on these green pieces you can see on the right hand side here, and I'll just put a rock on it. I've got a rock. I got a rock, yeah. But if there isn't, then we can work on finding ways at our end to have OBS save it. Yeah, for sure. One of the other things I want to do on my holidays, whatever that is, because I don't work outside the home, so it's not really time off from work either. But one of the things I'd like to do is take a look at where I got to on my Lego build channel in Discord, and see how far I've got to putting everything up there. And because there's a few things I know that once I've built them, I want to do glamour shots, and not do real ones, just more like find a good background, maybe make it black, or maybe whatever contrast color works, and then take a couple of shots of different angles so you guys can see what we built. That would be ideal. Okay, I said I was going to stop there. Let's just see what the next step looks like. The heck is that? Spoiler. It's a... Oh! Well, sort of. It's a spoiler. Okay, I'm going to finish up to the end because now we're on bag 2 for that second part. That's a perfect place for me to stop there because then we've got a fresh bag to open next stream. So I will do this part. Which is like, 2 minutes over, but whatever. Whatever. Okay, so we need to clip 2. It's an interesting way of building that front end, because I could have sworn LEGO would have a part that would do that. Did I? Oh, I got this one wrong. Come on. There we go. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So if it has trouble creating the VODs, then we can find a way at our end to do it. Absolute minimum. I know I can save a VOD from things at my end. So I've recorded, say, some of last year's bingo stream for ones that I didn't actually cast. And they didn't stick around. I didn't keep the videos, but I know I can do that. So if I really wanted to, I could actually, on my end, suck down a copy of his live, like while he's doing things. So there's possibilities for going forward. I'm pretty sure we'll figure something else out. So we've got one spare pin, which is great because I could see how that one could go, shooting across the floor. And I think we've got some autofocus issues. So let's just snap this one more time. Nope, it's just the table being the table. All right. Where's it? I guess it doesn't really matter as long as I get them going all the same way. Right, right. Oh, the top. Okay, it does matter. Come on. Top. So, flipping it over. Step 5 is hard to see which direction the fins are going, but step 4 is the one right above it that's making more sense with that. Does it want... Flipping up, flipping down. That's interesting. So it's hard. I may switch this around a little bit because it's flat on one side and sloped on the other, but the pictures aren't necessarily making it clear which is which. So I think I'm going to go with the slope on the top, being as it's LEGO's version of like a cow catcher. But if it turns out not to look right, like that one, oh, no. Like that one doesn't. This one, come on. There we go. Then we can always pull it out and switch it. 1, 2, 3, 2. Okay, and then point it in. I think that's what 5 was talking about, just point them all in. Okay, and then flip it. Flip the page. That just snaps on the front end. Okay. Rock. I got a rock, yeah. Turtle, can you hold that? No. Turtle doesn't have enough weight. That's okay. I can train, put that on the front. Okay, that's what that is. Yeah, so it definitely was cow catcher. In the picture, it's kind of hard to tell whether it goes downwards or upwards. I'm going to go with down, and but it does rub the table when I do that. I might have to change that, but that's okay. I will do that, play around with it off camera, and maybe what I think I'm going to do, because it rubs the table, is I will probably just simply slide all of them up to the next pin spot. Even though the picture has it shown clipped at the top, I don't think it would be harmful to clip it down lower. It would interrupt these buffer bumps, but it's LEGO. Realism isn't a thing. So we'll see if I can slide it any differently. Alright, so that's what we got so far. You can totally see it's a train. You can totally see it's the holiday train. There is cars to go with this as well in behind, but I think this is a great place to stop, and we'll pick up next week. So I want to say thank you to everybody who came by today. We used to do 3 hours on Mondays, but as part of my cutting back a little bit as a way of attempting to stay positive, I'm not going to roll longer than 3 unless there's a specific reason to do so. Train with a face. Oh yeah, I hadn't seen that. That's cool. But I don't think I'm going to run 3 hours unless there's a specific reason to do so, like we're so close to the end of a bag or something. or it's intentionally a special event to run long. Yeah, just for sanity reasons. I made a mistake on Saturday, and I said that there was a stream on Tuesday. That was more by habit. There is no longer streams on Tuesdays. So you will not see me till Wednesday. So yeah, that's the story. Wednesday is going to be, we're back at it in Minecraft, and back at it in a trial chamber. There's only 2 rooms to deal with left, both of which apparently have breeze spawners in them. One of the 2, I got lucky when the first breeze spawned, and I'll talk more about that tomorrow, but it's still there. It's just, it's in a safe, for me, spot right now. And we can figure it out tomorrow. So thank you everybody for coming by. Thanks Jay for dropping in. We will take a look at the VODs for that to see how things are going. For any of you that were subbed to the YouTube, I apologize for the flood that you've had in the last few months of videos and out of order and so on, because I'd stopped uploading them for a while. And then when I decided to do so again, I got them all up there, but they weren't on Twitch anymore, so the date was completely screwed up, and I didn't know what order they were. I tried watching them back, and it just didn't work. So we're doing our best to get them uploaded day by day. I now have a sticker, see, that reminds me, so that hopefully they won't be as badly out of date anymore, or out of order. So yeah, that's the plan. In any case, let's find someone to raid to. Oh, there's a good number live. Let's see. Now, as I've mentioned before, while I would normally do Lego, not normally, sorry, while I would potentially do a Lego stream to raid 2, because we did Lego, I may actually go back to Minecraft. 2 reasons. One, that's what I normally do, so that sticking with the same community. But the other part of it actually is I'm likely, yeah, I think I'm going to go over to Maribel Jade, so we often raid her on Mondays. But I mean, she's also a Lego person as well, so, you know, score there, 2 for 1. In the meantime, have yourselves a great day. Let's get that raid started. Magic button, where'd you go? There we go.
Mischief managed.
I still need a new sound for that because we're not actually swearing we're up to no good when we start. So, need to change that one up. Oh! Hopefully you guys aren't seeing jittery stuff, but if you are, you are, and I'm really sorry about that. Yeah, confused, but okay. So, on Wednesday, we'll be doing some more Minecraft. Thank you very much to everybody who came through, and we're off to Maribel Jade. Have yourselves a fantastic day. Grab those emotes if that's your sort of thing. We'll see you on the flip side. Bye-bye for now.
Transfer complete.